Hello, today I will summarize all the chapters that we have learned. First is the chapter 1, Introduction of Management. I will start with the organization. This is actually a collection of people working together to achieve a common purpose. And the organization provides useful goods and or service that return value to society and satisfy customer needs. So what about the organizational performance? We have three types of organizational performance. First is productivity. This is an overall measure of the quantity and quality of work performance with resource utilization taken into account. The second is the performance effectiveness. This is actually an output measure of task goals accomplishment, and different from this is the performance efficiency, and this is an output measure of the resource cost associated with the goal accomplishment. Let's move to the manager. So what is the manager? This is directly support, activate, and is responsible for the work of others. The people who manager have are the one whose tasks represent the real work of the organization, and the manager needs to have a management skill. There are three skills they need to have. First is a technical skill, are the job specific knowledge and technique needed. Next is the human skill, the ability to work well with the other people individually or in the group. And the last is the conceptual skill, the ability to think and conceptualize about abstract and complex situations. There are three types of manager: top, middle, and line managers. Now, what is the management process? The function of management is planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. First is about the planning, the process of setting objectives and determining what actions should be taken to accomplish them. Second is the organizing, the process of assigning tasks, allocating resources, and coordinating work activities. Third is about leading, the process of arousing people's enthusiasm to work hard and direct the effort to achieve the goals. And the last one is controlling. This is also the process of measuring work performance and taking action to ensure desired results. Oh, that's all about the chapter 1. And now I will move on the chapter 2, the history of management. I will start with the classical management approaches. First is the scientific management. The second is administrative principles, and the last is bureaucratic organization. Now, what is the scientific management? It's a few breadth, yes, and it emphasizes careful selection and training of worker and supervisor support. And about the administrative principle of Henry Fayard, it includes foresight, organization, the command, the coordination, and the control. The principles to guide manager in action. And scalar chain, there should be a clear and unbroken line of communication of the top to the bottom of the organization. Unity of command, each person should receive orders from only one boss. Unity of direction, one person should be in charge of all activities of the same performance objective. And the last is bureaucratic organization of Max Weber. And bureaucracy is mean an idea, intentionally rational and very efficient from the organization, based on the principle of logic, order, and legitimate authority. About the characteristics of bureaucratic organization, The manager must be clear division of labor, clear hierarchy of authority, formal rules and procedures, impersonality, career based on merit. And another behavior of management approach is Maslow theory of human needs and the X and Y theory. The Maslow theory need is a physiological or psychological deficiency a person feels compelled to satisfy psychological basic needs, food, water, physical well-being. Safety is security, protection, and stability. But the social is love and social relationships. Its term is respect, recognition, and last is self-actualization. It's your ability to dominate to society. And about the XE theory, I will divide into the theory X and the theory Y. The theory X assumes that the worker who dislike work and they lack ambition and they are irresponsible of work and resist change and they refer to be led. In contrast, about the theory Y, they assume that workers are willing to work, capable of self-control, willing to accept responsibility, imaginative and creative, capable of self-direction. And now I will continue with the last part, the modern management foundation. It includes the evidence-based management. It means making management decisions on hard facts about what really works. Evidence-based positive human resource management practice. The employment security, the selective hiring, self-managing teams, high pay based on merit, training and development, reduce status, distinction, and share information. So now I will move to the chapter 5, the global management. It includes the global management and market entry strategies. About the global management, it's actually managing in organization with business interests in more than one country. And the market entry strategy is, which means involve the sale of goods or service to foreign markets but do not require expensive investment. And the culture and global diversity. What does this mean? The first one is a silent language of culture. It includes the context, the time and space. In the context, it is divided into low context cultures and high context culture. Here in the low context culture, it emphasize communication via spoken or written word. The United States, Canada, and Germany. And about the high context culture, rely on the nonverbal and situational cue as well as on the spoken or written words. It exists in Thailand and Malaysia, for example. And here is the time. The time combine the monochronic culture and polychronic culture. People in monochronic culture, the people who tend to do one thing at a time. It exists in United States, Canada, and Germany. And about the polychronic culture, the people who has the time is used to accomplish many different things at once. It exists in Asia or Saudi Arabia or Mexico, for instance. Next is the space. Proxemic study of how people use space to communicate. In the US, people value personal space. but in many Latin and Asian cultural aspects, much less personal based. Here is the Thai and loose cultures. It's actually a strand of norms that govern social behavior. Tolerance may form any deviance from norms. Example for the Thai culture is the Japan and Korea. The example for the loose culture is the Brazil or Hungary. Then is the value and national culture. It has 5 points. First is the power distance, for example, the doctor and the driver. The second is the uncertainty avoidance, the degree of tolerate risk. Next is the individualism or collectivism, the comparison between the individual with the group. Next is the masculinity and femininity. It's the difference between male and female. And the last is time orientation, short-term thinking compared with the long-term thinking. That was all of chapter 5. And now we'll move to chapter 8, now planning processes and techniques. First is the planning process. It includes 5 points. First, define your objective. Next, determine where you stand via this objective. Then, develop premises regarding future conditions. Analyze alternatives and make a plan. And the last is implement the plan and evaluate the results. The benefit of planning is improve focus and flexibility, improve the action orientation. By the way, improve the coordination and control. And last is you can have the planning and time and have the time management. There are 3 types of plans. First is the long range and short range plan. Second is strategy and tactical plan. In the strategy plan, you have to focus on the organization as a whole or major component and long-term plans. About the tactical plans, functional plans in business, is you have to the business must have the production plan, the financial plan, facility plans, logistic plans, marketing plans, and HR plans. In addition, we have the operation plans. It means you guide behavior and describe what needs to be done in short term to support strategic and tactical plans, include standing plans and single-use plans. The next type of plan is planning tool and technique. First is forecasting. This is a process of predicting what will happen in the future when you run a business. It can include the qualitative forecasting and quantitative forecasting. It's different. We have the contingency planning. You have to identify alternative action to take when things go wrong and pick up the plan. The scenario planning is identify alternative future scenarios and make plans to deal with each. Long-term version of contingency planning. About the benchmarking, use external and internal comparison to plan for the future improvement. There are 2 types of benchmarking. The internal benchmarking is when the members and the worker learn and improve by sharing practices. And how about the external benchmarking? This means you learn from the competitor and non-competitor alike. And the last is the staff planning. You get the staff with right skill and number of people involved in the planning process. So now, chapter 9, the control processes and system. I will talk about the importance of the controlling first. The controlling is the process of measuring performance and making sure things to take count as intended. And next is the after action view. is actually a systematic assessment of lessons learned and results accomplished in a complex project. Next is the types of control. We have 3 types of control. First is feed forward, for another name is preliminary control. This type of control makes you feel that you have to ensure that direction and result and right before the work begins take place before a work activity begins. The concurrent control, another name is steering control. That you have to focus on what happened during the work process. Make sure things are being done according to the plan. And the last is feedback control. You can call it the post-action control. That you take place after an action is completed. Focus on the quality of end result. About the external and external control, we have the self-control involved here. The self-control occurs through self-discipline in fulfilling work and personal responsibility consists of unlocking, allowing, and supporting it. Back to the bureaucratic control. The influences behavior through authority, policy, produce, job description, purchase, and day-to-day supervisor. Next is the clan control. Is actually an influences behavior through norms and expectations set by the original culture. The last one is market control. It's also an influence, but it is an influence of market competition on the behavior of organizations and their members. Okay, now I will tell more detail about the control process. It includes 4 steps. The first step is establish objective and standard. The second step is measure actual performance. Step 3 is compare results with the objectives and standards. And the last step is take corrective action. We also have the control tools and techniques. It includes the project management and control. About the project management, that makes sure that activity required to complete a project are planned well and accomplished on time. Technique include the Gantt chart and the CMP. So how about the inventory control? The inventory control ensures that inventory is only big enough to meet immediate needs. And the break-even analysis is to perform what if calculation under different revenue and cost conditions. We also have the financial control with a balance show assets and ability at one point in time, and an income statement shows profits and losses at one point in time. It brings me to the last one. It is called the balance scorecard. This is the totalized organizational performance in financial, customer service, international process, and innovational and learning area. So I have just reviewed all the lecture that we have learned from beginning. Thanks for seeing.